the flood came, during this period right here, during that period from the creation till the flood, according to the Bible, the people lived to be over 900 years old. Read Genesis 5. It could not be more clear. Adam was 930 when he died. Adam lived 130 years and begat Seth, and he lived 800 years after that. The biggest pterosaur flying over the inland sea is a pteranodon. Like all reptiles, it grows throughout its life. Did you know reptiles grow all their life? These are called indeterminate growers. They never stop. So the dinosaurs were simply big lizards that lived with Adam and Eve, because that was the time when people are living to be 900. I think we could assume things were different and everything was living much longer. You let a lizard or a reptile live to be 900, he's going to get 40 feet long. So the question, if that's true, the question would be, did Noah take dinosaurs on the ark? People say, dinosaurs on the ark, they're kind of big, aren't they? Well, the big ones were big, but the little ones were little. And Noah was 600 years old when he built that boat. I bet he'd be smart enough to figure out, I don't have to bring the biggest ones. Bring 2 babies. Dinosaurs had 2 problems. 1, they died because of climate change. 2, people hunted them. But back in those days, they called them dragons. See, the word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841. The Bible talks about dragons, though, quite a bit. It says the poison of dragons, that breaks the head of the dragons. Dragons mentioned 34 times in the Bible. There's dinosaurs on ancient artwork and pottery all over the world. We got a whole section of our museum here at Dinosaur Adventureland with cool stuff showing dinosaurs living with man. The walls of the ancient city of Babylon, built about 600 BC, show lions built right into the brickwork and dragons. Why would they put dragons on a wall in 600 BC? Because there were some still alive? Alexander the Great. Dinosaurs go extinct. Do you realize they're asking the wrong question? The question is not what made them go extinct. The question is, did they go extinct? People say, come on now, dinosaurs aren't in the Bible. Well, of course the word's not in there. They didn't make up the word till 1841. The word computer's not in there either, but there really are computers, okay? Now, they didn't call them dinosaur, though. They called them dragon. See, the word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841. So for most of human history, these creatures are called dragons. Did you know dinosaurs not even in the dictionary in 1891? For most of human history, they were known as dragons. Now, dragons are mentioned in the Bible 34 times. Dragons are listed in the dictionary in 1946 as now rare. As the population of people began to grow after the flood, the population of dragons began to go down, because nobody wants to live next door to a dragon. People kill dragons for meat because they were a menace, to prove you're a hero, to prove you're superior, competition for land, or for medicinal purposes. Many ancient recipes call for dragon blood, dragon bones, dragon saliva. Why? Gilgamesh is famous for slaying a dragon. A Chinese legend tells about a guy named Yu that surveyed the land of China. It says after the flood, he surveyed the land and divided it into sections. He built channels to drain the water off to the sea and make the land livable again. Many snakes and dragons were driven from the marshlands. Yeah, that's just normal. If you want to build a city, you got to, drive off the dragons and then build your city. Why would the Chinese calendar have 11 real animals? The pig, the duck, the dog, and a dragon? Why would they put a mythical animal in there? Could it be that at the time they came up with these 12 symbols, there were 12 real animals? Here's one of the oldest pieces of pottery on planet Earth. It's a piece of slate from Egypt, first dynasty of United Egypt. It shows long-necked dragons.
Istnieje obecnie na świecie ogromny, mam na myśli ogromny, złowrogi spisek mający na celu ukrycie faktu istnienia gigantów i smoków, a także sprawienie, że pomyślisz, że wszystko, co ma duże kości, pochodzi od dinozaurów? Myślę, że tak, i zaraz ci to udowodnię. Po pierwsze, jeśli nie widziałeś moich filmów o gigantach, to zrobiłem ich 3. Myślę, że znalazłem całkiem niezłe dowody na istnienie gigantów. To tylko jeden z nich, w którym Smithsonian ukrył tysiące gigantycznych kości. I nie mówię o 8- lub 9-stopowych gigantach, ale o szczątkach szkieletów humanoidalnych o długości do 18 stóp. Oto palec. Spójrz na to. Ale zostań. Ten będzie bardziej o smokach i dowodzie, że tu były. To był dosłownie jeden z głównych artykułów Yahoo dzisiaj, w którym opowiadano o tym, jak plejozaur odkrył tego gigantycznego, ogromnego morskiego dinozaura. Chcę, żebyście na to spojrzeli i wyobrazili sobie, jak wyobrażacie sobie smoka na podstawie obrazów, które widzieliśmy, na podstawie starożytnych rysunków. To jest czaszka smoka. Nie obchodzi mnie, co powiecie. Nie tylko to, ale została znaleziona w klifach. Została znaleziona wysoko w klifach, nie w oceanie, nie nisko, ale wysoko w klifach. To jest smok i chcę wam dać więcej dowodów na to, że smoki istniały, a może nawet kilka nadal lata. Ale śledź dalej. Pytanie nie brzmi, co spowodowało ich wyginięcie. Pytanie brzmi, czy wyginęły? Ludzie mówią, no proszę, dinozaury nie występują w Biblii. Oczywiście, że tego słowa tam nie ma. Nie wymyślili tego słowa do 1841 roku. Nie ma tam też słowa komputer, ale komputery naprawdę istnieją, ok? Nie nazywali ich jednak dinozaurami. Nazywali je smokami. Widzisz, słowo dinozaur nie powstało do 1841 roku. Więc przez większość historii ludzkości te stworzenia nazywano smokami. I wiesz, dinozaury nie występują nawet w słowniku w 1891 roku. Przez większość historii ludzkości były znane jako smoki. Teraz smoki są wymienione w Biblii 34 razy. Smoki są wymienione w słowniku w 1946 roku jako rzadkie. Ponieważ populacja ludzi zaczęła rosnąć po. Wstawię to tylko dla przyjemności, podczas gdy na chwilę o czymś opowiem. I oczywiście, to może być AI, CGI, cokolwiek. Ale ciekawie jest o tym pomyśleć. Chcę tylko wyjaśnić, co opowiedział. Nie mówi, że dinozaury istniały, a oni po prostu nazywali je smokami. Mówi, że nie, to były smoki. A potem gdzieś po drodze pojawiło się określenie dinozaur i pojawiły się obrazy dinozaurów. Ale to były smoki. Dlaczego chiński kalendarz miałby zawierać 11 prawdziwych zwierząt, wiesz, świnię, kaczkę, psa i smoka? Dlaczego umieścili tam mityczne zwierzę? Czy to możliwe, że w momencie, gdy wymyślili te 12 symboli, było to 12 prawdziwych zwierząt? Oto jeden z najstarszych kawałków ceramiki na planecie Ziemia. To kawałek łupka z Egiptu, pierwszej dynastii Zjednoczonego Egiptu. Przedstawia długoszyje smoki. Teraz chcę dodać te ostatnie kilka filmów. Nie próbuję powiedzieć, że są prawdziwe, ale są przynajmniej interesujące do oglądania, do myślenia. Naprawdę myślę, że istniały smoki, ale czy może nadal latają jakieś dzisiaj? Chcę pokazać ci te filmy i na koniec powiedzieć, jaki jest powód tego wszystkiego. To całkiem niezła podróbka, jeśli to podróbka. Chciałem po prostu zagrać w to jeszcze raz, ponieważ możesz poszukać informacji o małym smoku na YouTube. To całkiem legalne. Dobra, wróćmy do sedna. Jaka jest złowroga intryga? Chodzi o to, że istniały smoki i istnieli giganci, i że gdybyśmy o tym wiedzieli, to by to legitymizowało Biblię, to by to legitymizowało Boga, to by to legitymizowało fakt, że żyjemy w stworzeniu Boga, a nie w jakimś wirującym przypadkowym wypadku, miotającym się przez kosmos ze wszystkimi tymi nieskończonymi planetami i galaktykami. To się nie dzieje. Ukrywają je, niszczą lub mówią, że to dinozaury. Istnieje prawdziwy dowód na to, że rzeczy, które istniały i wyglądały w ten sposób, nie mogą nawet przetrwać, ponieważ nie byłyby w stanie się rozmnażać. Pomyśl o stegozaurze i tym wszystkim. Dinozaury to mistyfikacja. Olbrzymy są prawdziwe, prawdopodobnie do 100 stóp, a smoki są prawdziwe. Teraz, czy ziały ogniem, czy nie, nie wiem. Ale ci goście istnieli, a nie byli, i jeśli to cię obraża lub nie możesz tego pojąć, przepraszam. To po prostu oznacza, że jesteś tak zindoktrynowany, że nie potrafisz naprawdę zwizualizować ani pomyśleć o czymś poza tym, co wiesz. Otwórz swój umysł, miej otwarty umysł. Szukaj prawdy. A co ważniejsze, szukaj Boga.
Do we really think this is an ichthyosaur, or could it be something else? Maybe something that rhymes with kragen. You see, this page on the FB posted this lovely video. This video of what mainstream science will tell you is a sea dinosaur. But if you're anything like me, you don't really trust mainstream science anymore. And when you look at things that they find in the cliffs of the United Kingdom, and you're told that it's some sort of sea monster, well, if you look with unprogrammed eyes, you see what that is. You for sure see what that is. You see that it looks a heck of a lot more like this dragon statue built in Slovenia in the early 1900s than this cartoon picture of an ichthyosaur. Yeah, something's sore, all right, my brain from believing this nonsense for 42 years. But if you're new to the idea that dragons were actually real and dinosaurs were the fictional thing, let me catch you up. Oh, and stay tuned till the end because there's something you might want to hear about. First, take a look at what the 1946 dictionaries used to say. Dragons, now rare. Interesting. Let's see what Alexa has to say about this. Alexa, how many dragon fossils have been found in the United States?
The number of dragon fossils found in the United States is limited. Only 5 fossils have been discovered so far, limiting the knowledge about these creatures. These fossils are studied by researchers to learn more about dragon species and their evolution. While the findings are preliminary, they provide insights into the life and times of these majestic creatures.
So the dictionary says they're real. Alexa says they're real. Several weeks ago in the UK, they found a fossil that looked like this, even though they called a plesiosaur. That sure looks like a dragon to me. And just a few weeks after that was found, CNN reveals that their scientist actually unveiled dragon remains. Not to mention how they're part of the Chinese zodiac with all real animals, and how there are over 30 verses in the Bible that reference dragons, and how my friend Lori sent me this amazing 1922 dictionary that just happens to have the word dragon in it. And let's see what it says. Is it going to say fictional character, mythical beast? Or is it going to say something else? Winged serpent. So why would they hide it from us? Why, when you go to the dictionary now and look up dragon, does it say mythical monster? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think it's because of that. Right there. And it legitimizes the Bible because it talks about dragons everywhere in the Bible. And I think we're living during a time of great deception. And the great dragon called the devil and Satan is loose for his little season and fooling the nations. And that's where this comes in. But I don't dare release hardly anything on him anymore because every time I do, I get account ban warnings and strikes and things taken down. So when I put it here, it seems to be safe. But let me just give you a tiny little taste on how that guy over there has been referred to as the dragon many times by Kanye, by the Chinese government calling him the Dragon King. But there's one in particular. One right here that you can read for yourself. The Grand Dragon of what? What is that? Right down there? Now let me show you one more thing before I leave you. Remember that name down there? Now, is it just me or is it a coincidence that that name that I just showed you sounds an awful lot and looks an awful lot like this, a Mesopotamian deity associated with wind and air and learning, and it's a feathered serpent that kind of looks like that. Wind and air and learning. Does that sound like a new one to you? Kind of sounded like Lucifer to me. You know, Lucifer, the Lord of the air and the bringer of the light or enlightenment or learning. You know, Lucifer, the dragon. You know about the Statue of Liberty, right? How that was its original face. It looks a lot like who just happens to, match up perfectly with facial markings and everything with him. Yeah, I bet this is just a funsies picture. Kind of like how this thing that looks like a dragon and is feathered is just another coincidence that who happens to be talked about with feathers an awful lot. Go check out this video. It's well worth your time. And the community is amazing, especially if you're on the FB, because there's just open-minded souls, willing and open to talk about anything and everything, and we share a lot. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. Like I said, that's just a picture they made for funsies, and dragons aren't real, dinosaurs are. Duh. Entertainment only. Now this. So, I found a dragon. And I'm not even joking. And not only did I find a dragon, but I found a dragon in the United States the size of a state. Now you might think I'm crazy, but if you watch this video, I'm going to provide you solid evidence to the point where you're going to know there were dragons. It all started a few days ago when my buddy Mike, who has this page on the gram, go follow him. He is brilliant and has so much awesome information, posted this. And those are people. So these are rock formations and those are people. So think how big that is. So Mike was mentioning in his post how the mainstream would never let us know how big dinosaurs actually were. And he was saying these were scales from a giant dinosaur. But I was suspicious. I wasn't quite sold on what he was saying. Suspicious to the point where I wanted the coordinates. So Mike, like the good person he is, found me the coordinates. And just to show you a little bit more, all this rock formation goes on until the eye can't see. And that's a car, just so you get an idea of how big these are. So I got these coordinates and I put them in because I wanted to see these rock formations for myself. So I zoomed all the way in and I found these patterns and they were everywhere and they just go on forever and forever. And that's a car, just so you can get a scale again here. And just look at these. They're forever, forever. And they're all just like the squareness of them. They're too coincidental to what a reptile scale looks like to me. So what I wanted to do was I saw this and then I wanted to zoom out and see if I can get a bigger thing, but I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. Didn't see anything. And I was like, I give up. And then all of a sudden, there it was. Now you might not see it at first, but I promise you, you will. So look at the red. We're looking at the red here. Here's a wing, okay? So a giant wing. Here's its torso going up to its neck, and then its head is right here. And then another wing, and then so we got body, wing, neck, and then I'm gonna show you its head, and it's crazy. All right, so I really want you to see this. And over here is the head, so I circled the head. Here's its mouth around. Literally the mouth opening is right here. Here's its eye. So here's its big head. Here's an outline, found the best looking dragon to what it looked like. But you can see in the blue outline, the blue, you can see the wings, and then its head goes up and around. And the part to the very top right is the head here. Now watch this. All right, so here's the whole thing. Wing. I'm gonna zoom in on the head here and just wait till you see this. Okay, so here's its head. Here would be its bottom jaw. Look, you can literally see its teeth, even molars here. And then look at this. More teeth over here, but wait till I show you what I found. And I found this after I saw this. Look at the name of the trail by the giant dragon head. Black Dragon Canyon Trailhead. Guys, they put the truth right in plain sight. The Dragon's Head, Dragon Trail. So just to compare the rock formations to a crocodile. Suspiciously similar, right? So again, I just really want you to see that those rock formations look exactly like what petrified crocodile scales would look like. Exactly. And these scales go on forever. Literally forever. Miles and miles and miles. Now here's where it gets even crazier. There's a place up here around where the dragon's chest would be called Fern's Nipple. And I want to show you this place. Okay, so here it is from an overhead view, and it literally looks like a nipple, and you can see all these scale patterns again. Now let me show it to you from the side view. All right, so it clearly looks like what it's being called, and it happens to be right in that chest area of the dragon. Now I think if people were to ever think of dragons for real, they wouldn't think that dragons had nipples. But there was all sorts of crossbreeding animals going on back before the flood with the fallen angels, literally crossbreeding humans with different animals to try to get different species. So I'm not discounting this part of it at all, especially when I look at what ferns comes from. there just happens to be something called a wyvern. And fern, vern, wyvern, it sounds very similar to me. And a wyvern is a type of mythical dragon with 2 legs and 2 wings and a pointed tail, which is said to be a venomous stinger. So, are they telling us truth in plain sight, as they always do? And again, are they putting that truth in plain sight in books and even in alcoholic beverages called dragon's milk? You tell me. Now, you might think all this is crazy, but the dragon, it's been mentioned everywhere since the beginning of written history. And the Bible is mentioned 35 times. It's one of the 12 zodiac signs of the Chinese calendar, and you're telling me they just picked 11 real animals and 1 fictional one? It was also even in the dictionary pre-1936 as listed as now rare. Dragons, now rare. Now, if you haven't researched any of the history of the hidden giants and titans of the world, like these guys, or this one, or these, or even some of these crazy ones in this giant petrified tree, well, then I could understand why you can't see this outline of this wing here with its neck going to its head with the fern's nipple and the wing here coming down to its tail. Maybe you need to look a little harder, and maybe you need to research a little more. But to me, I know what I see, and it's clear as day to me. And if you can't understand why they would hide these guys from us, well, because it crashes down their narrative of evolution and the Big Bang and dinosaurs and the globe and everything. And it legitimizes the Bible. So you can go on believing that dinosaurs existed 65 million years ago, or you can do some research and realize these are the guys that really existed, and they were as big as the state of Florida. But as always, guys, this was just a big elaborate hoax. I'm just here to entertain you guys. Yeah, I just think this is a guy from a cartoon movie called The Hobbit that they turned into a movie from a book, and it's all just lies. Just entertain and make people imagine this fantasy world, all for entertainment.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the 7 seas. Everybody looking for something. Some of them. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Is this proof dragons exist? Footage appears claiming to show mythical beast flying over Chinese mountain range, but is it all as it seems? Mysterious footage has surfaced showing a dragon flying across a mountain range in China. The vision, uploaded to YouTube, appears to show the mythical creature soaring over rugged a landscape on the border of China and Laos. The mobile phone video has sparked a fiery social media debate, with some viewers stunned but others less convinced. Dragons are legendary creatures in Chinese folklore, leading many to believe the footage is authentic.
Now, this video was supposedly taken in a genetically modified laboratory of some type of mutated bat. Now, the whereabouts of this laboratory is unknown, and the person that took the video was not willing to disclose the area. And the question I have is, how many more of these genetically modified laboratories are out there, and how many other genetically modified creatures are they creating? Because the screams of this creature are terrifying.